On the cusp of autumn, September 8, 2006, a Friday that whispered the last secrets of summer, the residents of Lanes 258 in Catan, Hualien, Taiwan, were confronted with a mysterious silence. House number 25, once a hive of activity with a family of 7, had inexplicably fallen into a haunting quiet. The absence of life's usual symphony, paired with a stifling stench, started to unsettle the neighbors. The silence, shrouded with the offensive odor, prompted the residents to reach out to the authorities, hoping for a swift unraveling and resolution of the matter. The locale, however, was no stranger to disputes or mafia gang activities, leading the police to initially overlook the situation. Only after a persistent stream of calls from concerned locals did they decide to inspect the house. As the police arrived, they were immediately greeted by the pungent odor, markedly different from typical sewer smells. With guidance from the residents, they approached the ominously silent Liu family's residence at number 25. Repeated knocks and calls by the village head and police echoed unanswered. With patients wearing thin and the pungent odor serving as the only response, the decision was made to forcibly enter the home. With the locksmith's aid, they breached the threshold. The door creaked open to reveal a scene dominated by an overpowering foul stench and flies in morbid attendance. The interior, once alive with the laughter of children, now held a terrifying stillness. A thorough search of the ground floor by the village head and officers yielded no sign of the family or anything out of the ordinary. They ascended to the second floor, only to find it equally undisturbed. The investigation then led them to the third floor. The further ascent was marked by an unsettling increase in fly activity. The flick of a light switch initiated a grim inspection. They encountered a bathroom door ajar. A push against the door was met with resistance, as if something was lodged behind it, and an overpowering stench filled the air. With determined force, the village head and police officers pushed against the bathroom door, steeling themselves for the unknown horrors within. The scene they encountered was beyond nightmarish. Within the confined space of the 6-square-meter bathroom, 5 bodies were discovered in a macabre heap, each enshrouded in thick quilts. From these wrappings, a dark, sinister liquid oozed, dripping to the floor and drawing a grotesque gathering of flies. The decayed state of the bodies, lying in a grim testament to the passage of time, was the source of the pungent stench that had pervaded the house. Grasping the severity of their find, the officials immediately alerted their superiors, setting in motion a more extensive investigation. In the wake of this chilling revelation, a contingent of police officers rapidly converged on the site. They secured the area, establishing a boundary for what had now become a major crime scene. As they commenced their meticulous investigation, they found that all 5 bodies were clothed and cocooned in blankets. A more unsettling detail emerged. Several of the bodies had their faces and heads cruelly obscured with beige tape and plastic bags, their forms constricted by ropes. The explicit horror and sensitive nature of these findings led to a decision to withhold further gruesome specifics from public disclosure. The identities of the 5 victims were quickly established. They were the children of the Liu family. Specifically, the victims were Liu Yushang, 18 years old, born December 16, 1987. Liu Jingshang, 17 years old, born November 15, 1988. Liu Guqin, 15 years old, born August 12, 1991. Liu Quan, 12 years old, born November 24, 1993. Liu Beisheng, 9 years old, born November 18, 1996. Their cause of death was determined to be asphyxiation. This revelation raises numerous questions about the circumstances and motives behind their tragic deaths. In a meticulous effort to unravel the sinister mystery behind a heinous crime, the police delved deep into investigating the cause and identifying the perpetrator. The scene yielded pivotal clues. Autopsies revealed that 3 of the 5 victims had empty stomachs, indicating they were likely killed before a meal, with their demise predating the discovery of the bodies by over 3 days. The investigation swiftly focused on the Liu family. This family, comprising Father Liu Zhiqin, born November 25, 1958, and Mother Lin Zhenmi, born July 25, 1971, had moved from Taidong to Hualien. Known for their reclusive nature, they had minimal interactions with their neighbors. A thorough search of their residence revealed that all entry points were secured from the inside, suggesting no external intrusion. Curiously, even the ventilation fan in the 3rd-floor bathroom was taped shut, presumably to contain the stench. Among the finds were a used roll of tape and a partial fingerprint. Outside the bathroom, investigators found cigarette butts of a brand different from Liu Zhiqin's usual choice. DNA tests on the butts contradicted his genetic profile. Personal documents, mobile phones, and various belongings were discovered undisturbed on a TV cabinet, negating the likelihood of a break-in or theft. A distressing clue was unearthed in the living room, a note scribbled on a piece of white paper alongside a 1,000 yuan bill reading, "Children are being held in house number 25. Call the police. SOS." The handwriting was identified as Liu Zhiqin's, hinting at a desperate cry for help. Amidst these findings, the police noted Liu Zhiqin's financial woes, leading to speculation that he and his wife could have been potential victims or even the orchestrators of this tragedy. Investigators then turned their attention to the family's social circle, suspecting an acquaintance might be involved. A significant lead emerged when the DNA on a cigarette butt found outside the bathroom was matched to Xiao, a friend of Liu Zhiqin. Xiao confirmed visiting the Liu residence over a week prior, but had not returned since. His alibi, corroborated by forensic evidence, suggested the cigarette butts were strategically placed to mislead the investigation. In the days leading up to the discovery, a neighbor reported seeing Mrs. Lin performing tasks usually done by the children, further adding to the mystery. Liu Zhiqin, owner of 3 businesses, was reported to have visited his offices 4 days before the incident, citing a trip to Taipei for his children's surgery as a reason for his impending absence. This cascade of information significantly aided the police in piecing together the case, narrowing the search for the culprit and understanding the context of the 5 children's deaths. School records for Liu Yushang, Liu Jingshang, Liu Guchen, Liu Quan, and Liu Beisheng provided crucial insights into the timeline of their disappearance. The discovery that 2 were still in school uniforms indicated a probable post-school murder. The absence of any signs of struggle or conflict within the house and the lack of suspicion among the dense residential area suggested a covert operation. The physical prowess of the older Liu boys, showing no resistance, pointed to a possibly sedative or paralytic agent used by the assailant. Further forensic analysis identified poisoning as the cause of death, distinct from any sleep-inducing drugs. Variances in the time of death among the victims aligned with the younger children's presence at school on September 5th. A critical finding was a toxic vine containing the lethal compound rotenone at the Liu residence. Its most poisonous part, the root, was missing, raising suspicions of its use in the crime. Liu Zhiqin had received the vine from a friend for supposedly research purposes. These revelations steered the investigation toward a grim possibility. Liu Zhiqin and Lin Zhenmi might have premeditated and executed their children's poisoning. Lin Zhenmi's deceit to the school to keep the children at home, coupled with Liu Zhiqin's access to the toxin, led to the suspicion of the parents' involvement in this appalling act. The meticulous analysis of evidence from the crime scene, alongside data from train stations, convenience stores, and supermarkets in Hoa Lian, increasingly implicated Liu Zhiqin and his wife, Lin Zhenmi, as the prime suspects. Surveillance footage captured them moving with a disconcerting calmness, devoid of any signs of being pursued or coerced. Their purchases, tape, pliers, wire, items eerily aligned with those used in the crime, heightened the suspicions of their involvement. A pivotal piece of evidence emerged: Liu Zhiqin's fingerprint, unmistakably imprinted on a tape roll discovered at the scene. In a significant turn, investigators unearthed a digital camera in Liu Zhiqin's office. Despite the missing memory card and deleted images, a recovered photo chillingly depicted Liu Zhiqin binding his 3rd daughter, Liu Qitran, on a bed. While Lin Zhenmi was absent from the frame, the angle at which the photo was taken suggested her role as the photographer. These revelations shifted the nature of the case, transforming the missing persons report into an arrest warrant for the couple, signifying a crucial pivot in the investigation's trajectory and a firm resolve to bring the suspects to justice. Liu Zhiqin, 48, with a history of 3 marriages, had found a complicated romantic entanglement with his 3rd wife, Lin Zhenmi. Their paths crossed while working at a hot spring hotel, sparking a swift and intense relationship. In a bold move, Liu Zhiqin, while still wedded to his second wife, introduced Lin Zhenmi as his sister at his home. This clandestine affair eventually came to light, culminating in his divorce. Post-marriage, Liu Zhiqin and Lin Zhenmi encountered stiff resistance from her family. Despite this, Lin Zhenmi's allegiance remained unwavering. She kept in touch only with her third sister, Lin Qugui, owing to the tense family dynamics. Liu Zhiqin's refusal to adhere to traditional kneeling rituals following the death of Lin Zhenmi's parents only exacerbated the familial rift. The couple's relocation to Hualien marked a period of seclusion for Liu Zhiqin, where he led a reclusive life, strictly managing his family affairs and increasingly distancing them from the local community. Under the guise of familial harmony, the Liu household was silently grappling with a financial crisis. Burdened with an overwhelming debt of 16 million Taiwan dollars, roughly 600,000 USD, across 17 credit cards, they were caught in a vicious cycle of borrowing from friends and relatives for various needs, ranging from their children's education to business ventures. However, 3 months before the catastrophic event, their financial woes reached a breaking point, leaving them incapable of debt repayment. A confidant of Liu Zhiqin disclosed a haunting premonition he once shared. If he couldn't settle his debts, the survival of his entire family was in jeopardy. Alarmingly, just a week before the tragedy, he ominously hinted to a neighbor about a forthcoming horrific murder on their street, a statement initially dismissed as jest, but now holding a grim foresight into the fate of his 5 children. Meanwhile, Lin Qugui, Lin Zhenmi's sister, reminisced about a distressing call from her sister 11 days earlier. Lin Zhenmi's tone was laden with despair and despondency. Concerned, Lin Qugui attempted to coax her sister into meeting for a heart-to-heart, but Lin Zhenmi, citing her busy schedule, declined. These insights shed light on the concealed anguish in their lives, forming a critical part of the overarching narrative of this harrowing case. Ensnared in a devastating vortex of debt and despair, Liu Zhiqin and his wife, Lin Zhenmi, tragically chose a path of irreversible darkness, the obliteration of their own family. Overwhelmed by an insurmountable financial crisis and seeing no viable way out, they resorted to a chillingly methodical plan. Lin Zhenmi meticulously acquired tape, rope, and other sinister tools from the supermarket, setting the stage for their grim plot. 4 days before the grim reality came to light, on September 4th, their eldest son, not yet back in school, was at home. The couple sinisterly employed a poison extracted from a toxic vine, rendering him defenseless before taking his life and concealing his body in the 3rd-floor bathroom. That same evening, a similar cruel fate befell their 5th child, who had just returned from school and was about to have dinner. Their 2nd child, returning late from school, was equally caught in this tragic web. Miraculously, the two middle daughters evaded harm on that fateful day. However, on September 5th, after the daughters, dressed in their school uniforms, left for school, their mother deceptively claimed their brother was ill with a fever. Upon their return and resumption of normal activities, Liu Zhiqin and Lin Zhenmi heartlessly repeated their heinous act, ending the lives of their two daughters in the same cold-blooded manner. Lin Zhenmi then stoically cleaned the scene, disposed of the garbage, and encountered a neighbor, to whom she offered no response, retreating back into the shadows of her home. After executing these reprehensible deeds, Liu Zhiqin and Lin Zhenmi absconded in their vehicle, leaving behind a shattered family legacy. A deep dive into the investigation unearthed a crucial clue on Liu Zhiqin's computer. He had extensively researched the notorious Ho family case in Changhua from 2001, a case as shocking as it was unforgettable, and one that also commenced on September 4th, the same day the Liu family tragedy unfolded. This eerie parallel led investigators to speculate that Liu Zhiqin might have drawn macabre inspiration from that case. The community, now enveloped in fear and dismay, was haunted by these ghastly events. Seeking solace, they invited priests to conduct rituals, hoping to find peace for the innocent souls of the children. The relentless pursuit of Liu Zhiqin and Lin Zhenmi continued, with the police scouring tirelessly for leads that seemed to dissipate as quickly as they appeared. This case, laden with spiritual torment, posed a formidable challenge to the investigating officers, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of the community. Nine years after the unfathomable tragedy that struck the Liu family on June 10, 2015, a profound discovery unveiled a new, haunting aspect of the saga. In the Zuyun Mountains of Canale, a mere 2 km from the Liu's former home, a hunter made an unexpected find. Traversing a secluded mountain path, he inadvertently stepped on what appeared to be a white object. Initially mistaking it for animal remains, he unearthed something far more chilling, a pair of shoes. The discovery prompted an immediate police investigation. At the scene, they unearthed 2 human skeletons, along with additional shoes, garments, and a pesticide box dated May 2006. Forensic analysis chillingly confirmed that the remains belonged to a male and a female with no apparent bone injuries. The cause of death was identified as pesticide poisoning, dating back approximately 9 years. Amongst the corroded items, a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, strikingly similar to those once worn by Liu Zhiqin, were discovered. DNA testing conclusively identified the skeletons as those of Liu Zhiqin and Lin Zhenmi. On September 11, 2015, the Hualien District Prosecutor's Office officially announced the demise of the couple, previously suspects in the murder of their 5 children, effectively closing the case. Yet, this revelation opened up new lines of inquiry and speculation. Firstly, if debt was the driving force behind Liu Zhiqin and Lin Zhenmi's actions, what led them to commit such a heart-wrenching crime? Secondly, if their initial intent was to murder their children before committing suicide, why did they choose a location away from their home? Thirdly, the rationale behind their decision to document the murder of their children remained shrouded in mystery. Fourthly, at the time of the incident, the influence of mafia groups on local authorities was noteworthy, raising the possibility of crucial leads being obscured or manipulated. Fifthly, according to local reports, a mysterious individual was frequently seen near house number 25 in the days leading up to the incident, only to vanish following the discovery of the crime. While numerous questions linger, casting a shadow over whether this was an act perpetrated solely by Liu Zhiqin and Lin Zhenmi or involving a criminal syndicate, the truth remains elusive. In the end, the most heart-rending aspect of this case lies in the fate of the innocent children. We remember them, hoping for peace for their souls and praying they have found serenity and eternal rest.